Hi, my name is Karin Ellison, and I'm a clinical professor in the School of Life Sciences at Arizona State University. I direct the ethics program in the school, and I'm the associate director for the Center for Biology and Society. My dissertation research focused on the history of Grand Coulee Dam and multiple purpose river development in the 20th century United States. My work now focuses on research ethics, education, and practice. I'm proud of several aspects of my current role. First, I enjoy working with graduate students and helping them succeed. I primarily mentor graduate students in the history and philosophy of science and biology and society graduate degree programs. Because I have significant program development and operations roles rather than a large research program, I don't have a lot of PhD students who come to ASU to work with me as their primary mentor. However, I still end up working with a number of grad students. I've had some, particularly master students, transfer to me for one reason or another. So one role I play is helping grads get through the program when they're having a hard time. It's something I enjoy doing, helping people pull through. I was also on the executive board for my professional society, the Association for Practical and Professional Ethics, or APPE, for 8 years. The organization has been important for my intellectual development, and I have a wonderful group of colleagues through APPE. I enjoyed the opportunity to have a leadership role in the organization and contribute to maintaining and building its role in the academic ethics ecosystem. Finally, I'm proud of the ways my understanding of and responsibilities for ethics and human subjects research have grown over the course of my career. My PhD is in the history and social studies of science and technology with a strong emphasis on history. However, due to contingencies along the way, my work now is more centered around ethics, and ethics and human subject research has been an ongoing part of that transition. My shift to ethics began in my first position out of graduate school. I was a visiting assistant professor and taught science engineering ethics, including a little on ethics and human subjects research. A couple of years later, my first stable position was working in research ethics and compliance. In that job, I focused on oversight of conflicts of interest, but also supported the institution's IRBs, the committees that review research with human subjects. At ASU, I teach research ethics, including ethics in human subjects research, to both undergraduates and grad students, and I'm a member of ASU's Social and Behavioral IRB. In fact, this spring and summer, I'm the interim chair of the committee. So one way or another, I've been learning about and working with ethics of human subjects research for 25 years. It's been a long time and a substantial opportunity for growth. Grad school can be challenging for a lot of people. I found several of the significant milestones stressful and ended up having issues with depression. So comprehensive exams, teaching my first course as an instructor, navigating writing a dissertation were all challenging. One of the hardest episodes was processing feedback on what I expected to be the first chapter of my dissertation. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. I was not on the fast path to a PhD. I'd taken 4 years of coursework before I took my comprehensive exams, and then had 2 years in which I lived a 6-hour drive from the institution where I was getting my degree and worked remotely. Then I had a really nice opportunity, a 2-year fellowship that allowed me to focus on the dissertation. At the beginning of the second year, I was very concerned that I need to finish that year as the fellowship would end. I had a substantial bit written, and I gave it to my PI for feedback. But wanting to be finished, unfortunately, does not mean that I had found my intellectual footing with a project and was really nearing completion. My advisor gave me detailed feedback and was very frank that she didn't think I'd finish in the coming spring. At first, I was really upset and didn't know how to move forward. From there, I slid into a major clinical depression. I lost quite a bit of weight rapidly. I'd get stuck places. I would go into my office in the morning, in the late afternoon, I'd know that I need to go home, but I couldn't quite find the energy to actually go home. And my mood got to where it would just fall out from under me. I can remember being okay, standing, watering plants, and just having it hit me. And I couldn't sleep. I was trying to work and get stuff done, but I couldn't unwind. At one point, I started setting up my notes and other work materials in the living room so that I could go work if I couldn't sleep. Somehow that actually made it possible for me to sleep. So yeah, I was a mess. Fortunately, I did reach out for help. I knew the faculty housemasters of one of the undergraduate dorms and asked them for recommendations for getting help on campus. That led me to working with mental health care providers through campus health services. It's worth noting that getting connected to a mental health care provider who works for you can take some trial and error, and perseverance can be important. In my case, I started with a highly recommended therapist. The person referring me to campus health services specifically sent me to her because many students reported she was lovely and very helpful. Well, I didn't click with her. She guided me towards processing by journaling. Writing is one of the things that gives me anxiety, so processing by writing did not work for me. Still, she could see the fit wasn't working, and she sent me on to a psychiatric nurse practitioner. The nurse practitioner immediately put me on medication, and that helped a lot. But medication alone was not a quick fix-all. Another important piece of the puzzle was exercise. I was already walking a good bit to get back and forth to campus, but I added swimming. One of the other women graduate students in my program swam regularly, and we could go meet at the pool and both get our swim in. Finding a regular activity with concrete achievements was also important. Even though I had a fellowship, I took on a student worker job at the library. It was very part-time, less than 10 hours a week, and pretty much what I did was sell periodicals. It didn't demand a lot of thought. It was very straightforward, but it had visible achievements. After a shift, the cart with journals would be empty. The task was complete. Having an activity with discrete, finishable goals contrasted dramatically with writing a dissertation, and having that mix was really valuable. I didn't keep the job for very long, maybe a semester, but over time I found different ways to mix finishable tasks into my routines. Hobbies and teaching have both worked well for me in that respect over time. Another piece of the puzzle turned out to be therapy. After I was stable on medication, my nurse practitioner encouraged me to pursue therapy. I ended up with a therapist who was strongly in the psychoanalytic tradition, and I saw her weekly until I graduated. Between medication, lifestyle changes, and therapy, I was able to pull it together, write the dissertation, and successfully complete the PhD. I'd say the moral of my story of struggling with depression in graduate school is use all your resources. Get the meds, go to the counselor, make changes, figure out what works for you. One therapist not working? Try another one. Describing this from hindsight may sound kind of facile and chirpy. I know accessing resources in the moment can be really hard, but it can help. Use all the resources you need to support your mental health. Also, after moving to the desert, I would add staying hydrated to the list of mental health support resources. It might sound dumb, but the feedback between mind and body can be super powerful. So now if I feel bad, I try to think, wait, am I drinking water? If the answer is no, water usually helps. Finally, not everybody has to be a tenured professor to be successful. When one is in graduate school and deep in the academic bubble, it can be easy to define traditional academic success as the best kind of success. But academics is not for everybody, and that's not a failure. That's just learning who you are, and that's okay. You can get jobs that are intellectually stimulating beyond traditional faculty positions at universities and outside them. You can have a fulfilling life that isn't work-focused. Over my career, I've been in faculty positions, I've been in staff positions, I've never been in a tenure track position, and I've really gotten a lot out of the things I've done. I also value my family and my non-work activities. So learn who you are and do what you like, both inside and outside of science. Thanks for watching Failsafe Science. My name's Karin. I hope my story helps graduate students feel less alone.